This is
Coming to you from the heart of the Pacific, brought to you by Paulie by Design.
respected at all times.
Broadcasting from San Francisco, California, the city by the bay.
It's about to go down.
We shine on positive Pacific Islander role model every Sunday.
Party on a Sunday.
From 10 a.m. to noon, it's time for the iconic Faika podcast with your hosts,
Listening to
Naki and Carl.
What's up, Naki?
What's up?
It's Valentine's Day Eve. Are you ready for Valentine's Day?
Yeah, it's just another day for me.
Dang. Me too.
Oh, what are you doing?
Me
I was
too.
going to say, what are you doing then?
Not a thing. Actually, I got, I think chocolate strawberries was the pre-Valentine's Day that I didn't even actually get. They just came from Costco. I have a son that works at Costco.
Nice.
So that's what happens there.
So, sister, you're getting nothing.
No, she already got them.
Oh, from you?
For Valentine's Day.
Oh,
That's
there
what
you
they're
go.
for.
Nothing, sister,
Yes.
nothing.
Let's see, Super Bowl Sunday. So Valentine's Day is tomorrow. Super Bowl Sunday tomorrow or today, later today.
Mm.
Are you a Rams fan? Are you a Bengals fan? Or you just want to see a good game?
I am a Mary J. Blige fan.
There you
So
go.
That's the only reason why I will be tuning in. I'm in a football pool, but
Everybody our age is looking for the halftime show.
yeah.
We're looking for
Yeah.
the commercials and the halftime show. So that's later today. UFC 271 was last night. We'll talk about that. I know you've seen at least one of the fights.
Mhm.
We had two Pacific Islanders. There were two fights that were the main event. There were co-main events, and there was a Pacific Islander in both of the fights. That was good to see.
Nice.
Let's see. Today we're going to do our check-ins. We're going to talk about probably most of the things we just talked about. We're going to put a little more color to those. And then in the second half, we're going to have Christiaan Verbeek, a Tahitian drummer, on the show in our second half. So that's the show today. Naki, what's up?
Good morning. Happy Sunday. Just real quick, shouting out our Maury, who's checking in on Facebook. Good morning,
Good
Maury.
morning, Maury.
Our Leah Boasa Faleava is Flip It Girl. Flip It
Miss
Girl
Faleava.
is checking in. So good morning. I don't know. Well, I had a lot of shit this week. Like yesterday was my daughter's well, actually this week, my daughter turned 21. One of my girls, I got 4 girls. One of them turned 21. And I took Friday off and her and I hung out and got Manny petty thingy. And
She had
then,
her first drink of alcohol, right? It was her 21st birthday.
yeah, my kids, as soon as they turn 17, to my knowledge, that is when I think that they've had their first drink. Could be earlier or whatever. So, I don't condone you drinking before 21, but my kids, if you're going to drink, I'd rather you do it at my house where I can see you and you're safe. So
One of those things you don't want to know. As a parent, this is what I believe. Don't
Yes.
burst my bubble.
Yes. So what I believe is that she's been drinking for a while. So, 21 is just a number. And then I took the day off Friday and hung out with her. And then Saturday we had brunch. All the time is one of our kids' birthday. We have dinner. And so this time we had brunch and had my brother and my brothers and my sisters, and my mom flew in from the San Diego area. She flew in and surprised Miley for her 21st. And so it was really nice to spend the day with her because she literally comes for a day. So she came in yesterday and she left this morning, which my mom is like OCD about time. Her flight was at 6:00 in the morning. And so she left the house at 3 a.m. And at that time, our family was still up partaking in
They're
alcohol.
still celebrating.
Everybody was still celebrating. And so my brother, who slowed down hours and hours before, stayed up and took her to the airport because she just has to be at the airport 3 to 4 hours before her flight actually leaves. So
I'm
she
kind of
took
with
off.
her on that. I'm not that far, but I am definitely like, if I'm at the airport an hour or less before the flight, I'm freaking out. Like
Yeah.
I need to be inside through TSA at least an hour before, like
Yeah.
all the way through into the gate.
Yeah, I don't mind waiting. I'm the same way. I have to, but I'm not 3 or 4
No,
hours. I'm
not
like
that far.
at least 2 hours. I can be sitting at the airport. I don't mind because I have my laptop and I'm doing work. But yeah, my mom always goes to the airport like 4 hours before her flight, 3 or 4 hours before her flight. So she took off yesterday. Mo barbecued, and Mo and my sons Lai and Mac barbecued. Everybody cooked something. Evie made her cupcakes, red velvet and pistachio. They were a hit.
Mm.
And then my sisters came over, Kimmy and Titi, and my grandson, who is like my world right now, is over. He spent the night. So
Who's the star of the show on Milay's birthday? But Leo's there. Who's the star of the
I
show?
think it's kind of a tie. And then Miley was carrying my grandson, her nephew, and she said, "This is all I wanted for my birthday was to hold Leo." So she got her wish, and so it was a nice family event. Of course, we work hard and party hard, so I think everyone slowly woke up, and yeah, so. Yeah. So everyone, the shot. That was going on until like 3:30. I think finally they tuned it down a little just because I was like, turn that shit off.
Oh,
it's 3:00 in the morning.
Not by choice. They tuned it down.
Yeah, they tuned it down a little. And so they were actually playing basketball horse, like at 3:00 in the morning. I was like, yeah, no, that's where I draw the line.
Who was winning? Who was winning?
I have no idea. They're just like, it's okay. Sorry, mom. Sorry. So,
I think everybody's winning. If you're playing horse,
right.
Everybody but the neighbors are winning.
Yeah, everybody but the neighbors are winning at 3:00 in the morning. So that was my Lay's birthday in a nutshell. So happy birthday to my baby who turned 21. And then
I'm a little bit of I don't know. I'm obsessed with because you told me that in your family whoever's birthday it is, they get to choose the cake, and I know that Nutella is my Lay's favorite cake, and then so I was like, well, was it Nutella cake? And it actually wasn't Nutella cake. And then you had messaged me like what it was. But at that point, I was like, I don't know if this is like, some kind of weird obsession I have now because they get to choose. You know what I mean? I'm always wondering, well, what cake did they choose? Yeah.
Usually my Lay makes the cake because everybody requests because that's their favorite, that she makes the Nutella cake.
Oh, that's not necessarily her favorite cake.
Yeah.
She's just the one that makes it.
She makes it. She has no choice but to make it. So, but because it's her birthday, Mac and Kea, my daughter-in-law, they were in charge of the cake, and they did it was a white cake with berries.
Gave her a break. She didn't have to make the cake on her birthday.
Right. So, and plus the cupcakes. So we had the cake and the cupcakes, which were really good. Both were really good. And so, so that was Miley's birthday. And then what else happened? Yesterday was the donation drive for Tonga in Daly City, and it was put on by PICP, Toke Moana, SF Enterprise, Pacific Islanders Together, PBD, and then the campaign for Manufo Liang on Hawaii, who is running for Daly City Council. And so we had the event yesterday. It was such a success. Like I got there as early as I can so that I can talk to people and try to catch people that were donating. Right there in that picture that Mena has up on the screen is, of course, Manufo Liainga on Hawaii, who is running for Daly City Council. Teresa is with Pacific Islanders Together, who they have the Christmas toy drive every year in December, and they're part of the Aloha Fest in June. And then also, so a big shout out to all the sponsors that turned up and turned out. Pitt pulled up with like 2 truckloads of items, but in that picture that Mena has up, we have Manufo, myself, and then next to me is a DPR representative, Alonzo, who is my brother is the boss at DPR or
DPR Construction, right?
DPR Construction. So my brother is he works for
He's
DPR.
a somebody over there.
He's a somebody over there. And so what really hit me about DPR, which I'm trying not to cry is DPR is a construction company. So they reached out, they seen our flyer, and I never asked my siblings for anything. I'm not comfortable with it. But DPR, or my brother George, seen our flyer online and then called and said, hey, what can DPR do? They're not a retail company. They don't own a store or anything like that. So what I'm really touched about is that DPR went out and went and shop and bought pallets of water.
And that's a big piece of that. Just to step in here for a second, is just getting a pallet of water. If you get a pallet of water and it's sitting in Modesto, it doesn't do as much. We have to find a way to get it to the container.
Right.
So these companies that are donating, not only is Naki saying they're donating, they're actually donating and putting it on a truck and getting it to the container, getting to the shipping point. So huge shout out to a company that doesn't have these sitting in their warehouse and doesn't have these things just sitting there. They actually went out, got it, put it on a truck, and brought it all the way in to where Naki met them. So big shout out to DPR, and they've been a supporter of ours since the very beginning. Before we were even a thing, DPR supported us. So thank you, DPR.
They came out, of course, with a truckload. Like they have 4 or 5 pallets of water that they went out of their way to purchase the items. And then they had workers, their employees, drive the shipment from San Jose to Daly City on their day off. And so I really appreciate DPR for doing all that. One, because they were moved by the tsunami that hit Tonga and really wanted to do something to support. And so they reached out to us and they just made it happen. So I love DPR construction. Also, the last container that went out, January 20th, DPR went to SF Enterprise and took 2 pallets of water and cleaning supplies. So that again says a lot for DPR. They don't want to get recognized, but they're like, just put it under your name and we'll see, and I'm like, nope, you're going to get a shout out. So thank you, DPR Construction, who supported us with that. Also, Mato Motorcycle Club came and showed up and showed out in Daly City. We have Mena has a picture of the Mato Motorcycle Club there with the president, Carlos Lozada. And so they came with 3 truckloads of supplies, pallets of water, cleaning supplies, and non-perishable items, food and whatever they can fit in the truck. So I was so moved by them again after talking to them. I was like, oh, are you guys headed on a ride or something like that? And they're like, nope, we just came to bring the supplies.
Matua is a Pacific Islander motorcycle club.
Right.
So it is made up of Pacific Islanders.
Right.
I don't even know if there's a Tongan in the group. You know what I mean? It's just Pacific Islanders that saw that the island of Tonga, the kingdom of Tonga, needed assistance and needed relief, and they put it together.
Right.
And I love the interview that you did with Carlos, the president. Is they packed it all together the night before, and then they made the run down to where you were at. So big ups to Matua Motorcycle Club.
Right. So I was moved by everyone that took the time and the energy to get to the fundraiser, to get to SF Enterprise, to make the containers that are leaving to the island of Tonga. So I so appreciate everyone. The container before, when it left in January 20th, Costco donated. We just called, and really what moved me is my sister works for Costco. Big shout out to Costco. And I asked her if they wanted, well, she asked, how can they help? What can they do to help? And so I said, just anything you want to bring, water or whatever. And she said, good, I'll meet you there at SF Enterprise to drop off the 6 pallets of food and everything. They dropped off 6 pallets of items. And then I said, oh my God, what do you guys need our W-9 for Costco to? And she said, no, this is what got me. Costco, her and her managers in that area, seeing what happened with the tsunami, they paid out of their own pocket for those 6 pallets to get on that truck. So it wasn't even, I mean, it is Costco because it's their employees and they heard about the tsunami and they paid out of their own pocket, all the managers and whoever was, whoever works for Costco. They all pitched in and donated 6 pallets on their own. So thank you so much for the Costco employees, Matua, everyone who's given. My coworkers at work donated. They seen the flyer on social media and then reposted it in my company. And then everyone was reaching out, and I had a bin in one of the parts of the building, and they just filled it up. And we ended up getting like 2 pallets from my work. So I'm so moved by all the people that just were moved to give because of the island of Tonga, didn't even think twice, just seen what was going on and then reached out because they wanted to do something. So thank you so much to my police services in San Francisco, who I love, DPR Construction, Matua, all the people that gave yesterday. It was so packed at the event. Manufo and her whole family, her kids were busting their butt. Her husband, Ryan, was in the truck helping loading everything. And so the first truck was a 26-foot tractor trailer. It was filled she posted pictures. It was filled to the top. So I'm sure when they moved that truck, they had to go really, really slow. So everyone that gave yesterday and that continues to give, God bless you. And thank you so much. PJ, good morning. PJ is checking out on Facebook, but thank you so much to everyone that continues to give. And people are still reaching out to me asking how they can help. And there's a Nemo GoFundMe thing, because I think SF Enterprise is no longer shipping the containers for free. So now that if you want to donate, you yourself have to pay for the container to get to Tonga, because they've done so much. They've already done so much. This last month, they've been sending, 2, 3, 4 containers for free. So, and that's a lot. And they've had their workers, donating their time to work. So that was amazing. So yesterday was a huge success. So big shout out to Manufo Lienga Hawaii, who put this all together and got the other sponsors and all of us to get together to help participate. Tracy Williams, who's an artist that we interviewed in Utah, reached out to me this week. They're having a Oakland Artist Gala. It's their first black tie fundraiser for Bay Area mural program. So they're raising money, and she is one of the sponsors. And who else did I say, Minna? Guapale and that Marshawn Lynch. So, that if that doesn't push you to go get your tickets on Eventbrite, just search BAMP tickets, Oakland Artist Gala. I had to shout them out because she reached out and invited us to go. And I love art. If you know me, I love art. So I most likely will go and make Mo take me. So if you're listening, Mo, there you go. March 18th, that's happening. So mark your calendars. Snacky with Nacky is back this week. I just want to throw that out. Snacky with Nacky is back, round 19. So far, I've gotten $354. So if you don't know, I ask you to donate 50 cents via Venmo or Cash App. And whatever I collect at the end of the round, we usually tip the essential server or business owner. So if you have 50 cents, that's all I'm asking for. And I think I covered everything. I'm like trying to spit shit out real quick. But yeah, shout out to everyone that tuned in on Facebook. Thank you so much. JT, good morning.
Good morning, brother JT.
Pauline White, thank you so much. Brother Malamala is checking in. PJ, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. If we could ask you to share. Sorry. How was your week?
My week was not nearly as exciting as your week. I had this feeling of, this feeling of being sad earlier in the week. You and I had talked about it. It was, I was trying to figure out where is it coming from. There's a restaurant that I go to at least once or twice a week. It's right by my house, little hole in the wall restaurant, has great breakfast. I go there every week, and it's just a matter of whether it's once or twice. There's a waitress that's been my waitress there.
And what is that restaurant called?
Hungry Hollow.
Hungry Hollow.
Hungry Hollow,
Mhm.
a great breakfast place
Right.
in Carmichael, California. I've been going there since the early 90s when I worked at Ross. It was right next to it.
Oh, wow.
So I've been going there
I think
for
I
a
was
minute.
born in the 90s.
Maybe reborn. Maybe you were baptized and reborn in the 90s. But I've been going there a long time, and one of the waitresses stopped. She quit working there about a
Oh.
year ago, and her sister's the owner.
Mhm.
So I was talking to her sister, and hey, how's your sister doing? Those kind of things. And she's in a bad way. She's not doing good. And the family. Yeah, so there's certain places I'm really called to pray. One of them is a beach where I grew up on the beach, Casper Beach. When I'm there, I pray all the time, and I think I save prayers up to go to that beach. Like it's going to be things that mean a lot to me. For some reason, like the call to prayer is when I go to Hungry Hollow. I'm called to pray before I eat. So I'm head down for probably like a longer period of time. It's not a really short one. And she saw me praying. She said, "Hey, pray for my mom and my sister." And they're not doing well. So that was one of the things where I was like, well, maybe that's why I'm sad. I got bad PSA numbers in the middle of the week. I think I got the numbers back on Wednesday. The PSA numbers for the cancer were not good. So I was trying to figure out maybe that's what's making me sad. So I was really sad going into Friday.
And PSA numbers, for people that don't know, what is that?
PSA numbers are how you measure prostate cancer. It's really the biggest measurement or marker for people who have prostate cancer, men who have prostate cancer. So I'm stage 4. So really my objective is to keep my PSA numbers down.
Right.
They went considerably up.
Yeah.
So, it's been a long journey with cancer. So, and I've had these kind of things happen before, and I've got my arms around it, but I was like, it's not just that. Like, I don't feel like that's why I feel sad during the week. And then Friday night, Malia's rabbit, she's had a rabbit for 6 years. She's off in college. So now it's Nicole that takes care of the rabbit. It's basically our rabbit at this point. I go to feed the rabbit before I go to bed, and it won't. And rabbit won't. We're real creative with names.
Yeah, the rabbit's name is Rabbit.
The rabbit Bunny.
Bunny.
The bunny. And our turtle was named Turtle.
Yeah.
And so we're not really creative with with the names of the pets in the Johnson family home. But I go to feed her before I go to bed, and she doesn't come out of her little thing, and I'm like crinkling the bag that her little banana chips come in. She's not coming out. And I remember thinking, I'm going to lift up the house and it's going to be a dead rabbit. Like I really expected that. So I lift it up, and she's not dead. She's just sitting there, definitely alive, but not moving. So we end up taking her to the vet on Friday night, and we don't get out until like 2:45 in the morning. And a lot of what we're doing is we're doing this for Malia. Like, we want to make sure we do everything we can for the rabbit. So we get back. I get back at like 2:45, and I think I messaged you, hey, back, heading to bed. And then I had interviews that started at 5:30 in the morning. So I get like 3 hours sleep. I'm not a Molly family member. I don't have vampire blood running through my veins. So 2 hours sleep, 3 hours sleep for me is like, that's emergency holy crap time. Like I can barely function at that point. Right. So I get up and I work, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. I'm on the phone with like Arkansas or Oklahoma or one of the states back east. And the rabbit's still not doing good. And long story short, which is already long, Nicole is going to the vet to get the medicine, and I'm holding the rabbit for the last 45 minutes that it's alive. And the rabbit ends up dying as I'm holding the rabbit. And I had rabbits when I was a kid. Sometimes rabbits will scream when they die, like literally scream. And it's a defense mechanism. They're a prey animal, right? So it's like their last defense mechanism to ward off predators. But if they don't feel threatened or they're not scared, they don't do that. So I remember thinking, because I can tell that she's passing, and I was thinking, I'm talking to her like, hey, saying things you say to your fur babies, right? Things you say to your pets. And I remember thinking, I hope she doesn't cry. I hope she doesn't scream because that means she's scared when she goes.
Yeah.
And she didn't. She just passed.
Aw.
And so Malia was like 10 minutes away from her game. We didn't let her know until after. And I know a lot of people are like, they're rabbit, but fur babies are fur babies. And in our families, your family too, your pet, that's a family member.
I know.
So that was, sadness too. But I think it was I think that was, now that I think about it, I feel better today. So maybe, there was some connection with a rabbit that she was going, because it wasn't the PSA numbers and it wasn't, the other things were sad, but they weren't, I don't feel like that was what it was.
Probably, but most likely bunny.
Yeah. So I capped that off last night. I was like, I'm sad. I'm tired. I'm going to buy one, get the UFC, and I'm going to watch two Pacific Islanders in the main event. Rob Whittaker trying to reclaim his middleweight title from Israel Adesanya in the co-main event, and then Tai Tuivasa in the co-main event against Derek Lewis.
Oh, that I seen that.
And man,
it was good.
I was so proud to see that both the co-main events had fighters from that were Pacific Islander, and the guy who beat Rob Whittaker is from New Zealand. So you had Oceania represented in the main event, and the Tuivasa thing, the Shui was back. That's I know you hate that.
I hate that thing.
He won, and then he was doing Shuis on the way out of the.
It's a good thing because he won. When I know he's going to do the Shui, it's a good thing because he won. Right. He does it when he wins. But to watch the damn thing is gross.
Great fight. He was fighting somebody. Both guys had knockout power, and they were just going at it. It wasn't a real technical.
Right.
Manage the distance, head work, feints, and all that kind of stuff. It was as soon as somebody got hurt, both guys just let it all fly. And at the end of it, Tuivasa was the one standing. So it was an exciting fight.
Good fight. I know. After you told me, then like right away, it's on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so we watched it right away because we had a lot of people over. I would have loved to, if I didn't know the fight was last night. Otherwise, we would have had it on. But so right after the fight, Mo popped it up and we watched it. It was a really good,
exciting.
Yeah, bang. Like just crazy fight. So it was really good. And then we seen everybody going crazy on social media about Bam Bam. So yeah, it looked like a good fight. And then Whittaker was right after.
Whittaker was the so he was the last fight against Adesanya. He had lost his belt to Adesanya a couple of years ago, maybe a year and a half ago. And so he's trying to regain that, and no shame in losing to that guy because Israel Adesanya is one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Whittaker had a much better showing than he did previously. He got knocked out in the second round before. Went all 5 rounds, won a couple rounds on some of the cards. He was competitive, but Adesanya is that good.
Awesome. Yeah, I wanted to watch that too, but we missed it. And then, we had a house full of people, so I was like, watch it later. But I like Rob Whittaker, so I was hoping he would win just because. But next time. So I'm so sorry to hear about Bunny, and kisses to our Malia, but poor fur baby. I know, because I have a fur baby, so I don't know what I would do if we lost our fur baby. So real quick before we go to break, I am doing Light the Night on October 8th. So we started a team, and then I have like all my kids and Carl are under our team. It's October 8th. We're walking in Walnut Creek Civic Park. So if you can join us, please feel free to show up. I've got my siblings that are forced to go, and my kids who actually want to go and participate. So it's kind of awesome. We're raising money for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. They have a walk every year. So we beat our goal. So I had to raise it a little bit. I wanted to raise $1,000, and Carl was like kicking ass on social media. All his friends are giving. So yeah, October 8th, I'll keep talking about it for the next, umpteen months. But yeah, so there you go. We're going to go to break, and then we'll be right back. Pasifika Drums is our guest. Please stay tuned. Come back to Faika with us.
Join us tomorrow at 5 p.m. for the award-winning show Koviki Talk, where we talk about all things COVID-19, but from the Pacific Islander perspective. We deliver timely, important, and most importantly, accurate health-related information relevant to the PI community. It's Pacific Islander health and community representatives speaking directly to the PI community. Essence of Mana is offering free classes via Zoom. They're reaching out to our PI community, and it doesn't matter where you live, you just need to be able to commit to the course, which is 12 weeks. For more information or to register, you can hit up Lulu Masina at 415-243-6328 or El Masina at healthright360.org. They also have Talanoa Tuesday every week at 7 p.m., hosted by Nani Wilson and Lulu Masina. Check out all their episodes on the Essence of Mana Facebook page.
The first annual Pacific Feast Festival is happening Saturday, July 9th at the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds, featuring various PI artists such as Fiji, Sammy J, Maoli, Tanel, and the Bay Area's very own K-Mub Cobb. And more artists are being added every week. Please go to PacificFeatsFestival.com to get your tickets.
Come check us out.
We'll be there. Protect your kids the best way possible with COVID vaccines, which are tailored for children 5 to 11. Talk to a health worker if you have questions. Find vaccines near you at vaccines.gov. We can do this. The Abundant Birth Project, a pregnancy income supplement pilot program for Black and Pacific Islander pregnant people in San Francisco. This program is providing a monthly stipend at $1,000 during pregnancy and during the postpartum period to Black and Pacific Islander pregnant peoples in San Francisco. The purpose of ABP is so that you can worry less about money and focus on having a healthy and safe pregnancy. expectingjustice.org/abundantbirth-project. Go there, get your money.
How much is it?
$1,000.
A month?
A month.
Every month?
Every month.
Man, get your money. The Amu Blood Drive is happening March 19th, 2022 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at 2055 Sunnydale Avenue, San Francisco, California. For more details, visit linktr.ee/allmyusos or contact Christiaan Mauia at 650-219-1081.
The 7th annual Amu Barbecue is happening August 20th at Gilman Park in San Francisco. It's a free family affair for the entire family.
How much is it?
Free 99. Parking is free. The food is free. You just got to show up.
Come check us out. We'll be there.
And we're back. You're listening to the Faika broadcast. I am Naki. With me, as always, is Carl.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning. So, like we said, we've got big guests in today. Big guests.
So joining us now is Christiaan Verbeek. Christiaan's the owner of Pasifika Drums in San Diego, California. He started his business in 2011. He shipped his strong Pacific and Tahitian drums to 12 different countries around the world and has been featured in Disneyland, Hong Kong Disneyland, the movies Godzilla vs. Kong, and Tomb Raider. And lastly, he's been featured in Modern Drummer magazine on Fox News. Pasifika drums are all handmade craftsmanship. Welcome, Christiaan Verbeek.
Hey everybody, can you hear me okay?
We
Yes,
can hear
we
you.
can
We
hear
can
you.
hear you.
Good morning.
All right. Thank you
Is that
so
the
much for
beautiful
having me. I
San Diego
appreciate
sky
it.
behind you?
Say it again, I'm sorry?
Is that the beautiful San Diego sky behind you?
Yeah, right here. We all got it behind us, so you can all see
Awesome.
everything.
Christiaan, before we start, tell us a little bit about your family and where you grew up, and then we'll get into the beautiful drums that you create.
Yeah, of course. So my name is Christiaan. Born here in San Diego. My dad comes from the island of Bali, and our family comes from the island of Bali and Java in the country of Indonesia. After that, he left and went to the Netherlands, as we are Dutch and Indonesian descent. And then after that, he came to the United States. And something that stuck with him growing up was always the tropical upbringing, the customs of the culture and things like that. So that was always raised in my culture, in my upbringing. So growing up, I was always told, you're not white, you're not Asian, you're not Hawaiian, you're a Pacific Islander. And so ever since then, that's always been in my vocabulary, is I'm Pacific Islander. I'm not Indonesian, I'm nothing, I'm Pacific Islander. And so I was raised doing hula lessons. We would go to the Pacific Islander festivals every year. And so it was very cool to see the similarities. And then as I grew up and as I started doing my research to see the language similarities, the custom similarities from, our own Bahasa Indonesia to, Olelo Hawaii or the Samoan language and things like that. And words are the same, the customs are the same, the tattoo designs are the same. So it really came a full circle for me. And then, just doing hula all my life, doing Tahitian dance, and then I've always been a drummer. So, and Dad's always been a woodworker. So putting the drums and the woodworking together, that's how Pasifika Drums was born.
So did you pick up drumming immediately, or was that, how did you get into drums, and what do you remember that at your earliest age with the drumming experience?
So the earliest I can remember is being like in preschool or kindergarten, just drumming on the table. And then when we took a trip to Hawaii, my mom and dad stumbled upon a Tavaka CD. I don't know if you guys know the band Tavaka, like from the Moana movie and all those guys, like Uncle Opataya and all them. And so we stumbled upon them, and then they had a DVD. So my mom and dad would play the DVD in the living room. They bought me this little Fijian lolly. It's almost like a small pate, and I would just be in the living room, sitting on the carpet, just drumming to the things, just as a little kid. And then they would pick me up. I would pick up movies from PCC, Chief Cielu and all his stuff. And then, that's my earliest memories of just how I still have that lolly too. Just it's all beat up and all that, but that's my earliest memory of dance, drumming. And then dancing wise, we would always go see the hula shows. And then one day my mom caught me in the living room. I had like this little bamboo stick and I had a lava on, and I was just like doing like taiaha stuff and just dancing and moving. And my mom was like, "You want to join a halau?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So that's my earliest memories. That's probably like 4 to 6 years old right there.
And you're creating these drums because of the passion that you had of dancing and drumming. And so how did you do you do the art yourself, and how do you find what to carve on these drums?
Yeah, so we everything is handmade by us. We make the shells. We start from the rough sheets of wood. If we're making like the bass drums, the skin drums, if we're making the toetes, like the pates and stuff like that, we have, I have 30 logs of, straight tree logs of wood in our backyard that will section, will sand, will cut, will plane, will tune, will carve and everything. And then design wise, what makes Pasifika a little bit different is we're very customizable. And so what we do is when anybody orders, we have probably about 50 designs we have on hands, fabric designs, lavas, things like that, sarongs. And then, or if you guys have like a custom stuff you want, you can send it to me. I could add that. Carving wise, we do the same thing. So all of our toetes and stuff, they come with a signature carving that's kind of like our logo. And then if you want something custom, we can always do that. So yeah, everything is 100% handmade from us.
Wow, that's does it matter? Is it the craftsmanship when you're making the drum? Does the type of wood matter, or is it really what the artist is putting into the craftsmanship that really creates the sound? Is it any different?
For skin drums, like when we're bending the wood shells, just from sheets of wood, it doesn't really matter. We have a select sheet that we use just because it bends the way we want to. For the toetes, it does matter because you're hitting directly on the wood. So we've done different tests we've spent $400 on a piece of wood from a tropical wood store, and it sounded really bad. And you go to Home Depot and use Douglas fir and it sounds really good. So we did a lot of trial and error, and we finally stumbled upon on a local wood. There's actually, if you look around, all those trees right there, that's actually the same woods we use for our drums.
Oh, wow.
And so yeah, we started using that wood, and it's kind of passed all of our tests, sound wise, density wise, hardness, and all that. And just the sound is just almost, I think it's up to par, or might be even better than what you can get in the islands. So we're very proud that we found that wood, and we're able to keep the supply with it. So
We always talk about, I think it was I can't remember, but one of our guests had traveled. It was either the weightlifter or the basketball player, I can't remember, who it was, but we talked about pursuing your passion can take you a lot of different places that you would never think of going, right? And Fafiti, it was Easter, right? It was, she had gone to Poland or some place for to play basketball that she had never thought about going to. And we always talk about, it's amazing how following your passion can take you different places. And in your bio, it says 12 different countries and featured in a bunch of different platforms. Talk a little bit about the places that your passion, the drumming, has taken you, that you would never have thought of as a little kid, dancing in the living room, or joining halaus at young ages. Where have you found yourself in a different place in the world where you're like, wow, I never would have thought that I'd end up here?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, growing up, I hated school. Like I could never do it. The classroom setting, I couldn't do it. And so when I finally got old enough to like, okay, either you pick a job or you go to college, I'm kind of like, I want to learn a skill, and so um, when I started making the drums and realizing, hey, I could do this, me and Dad can do this, we can figure this out, it kind of blew our minds as to where we were today. So everything we make is out of our home-based workshop out of Dad's house, the house I grew up in. We converted the whole garage into a workshop, and then we have a shed in the backyard that we do our big cuts and all that. And so the 12 different countries, I mean, those are all different countries we've shipped to right out of, Lake Apopka Place in San Diego, just our small kind house. And then the way Tomb Raider and those things happened was, um, I always try and promote online. Like that's the only I was always too shy to go to, have a booth or meet people, network online. That's what I'm trying to do now. And so I would always try and promote online, and thank God I have a Dutch name. So the guy who did Tomb Raider and Godzilla versus Kong, he's from Amsterdam, so he's from Holland. He saw my name. He saw that we make Tahitian drums, and because Tomb Raider was set in the Pacific Islands, so to speak, he wanted to add that sound to his orchestra, and so he picked up a whole set from us. We're in the soundtrack for that one, and then a couple years later, he was doing Godzilla versus Kong, and he messaged me. He goes, "Hey, what's the biggest bass drum you can make?" I said, "Oh, 2 feet, 18, 24 inches." And he goes, "Oh, can you do 5 or 6 feet diameter?" 5 or 6 feet diameter, like. So I had to like look at everything and kind of calculate everything, and we got it done. So that was probably the Godzilla versus Kong drum was my biggest. I got my little puppy right here. Was my
What's your
biggest.
puppy's name?
We call his name's Corn Dog.
Corn Dog.
This Corn Dog. Say hi.
Aww.
We're fur baby lovers right here, so
I know
we're
the
Corn Dog
rabbit
fans.
broke my heart. I didn't want to hear
I
that
know.
today. I'm so sorry.
I know.
What a sweet little rabbit. But yeah, we just got him a few weeks ago. He's a rescue too, so we always rescue. That's our thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Godzilla versus Kong, that was probably our biggest success that we've had. And then just on Facebook, yeah, that's the one. And then just
Yeah, it's
randomly,
beautiful.
that was made in our garage right there. We had to retool the whole shop. We had to take all of our big saws out, put them in the living room. We put them in the kitchen. We had to move everything just to make space for that.
That's
And
awesome.
yeah, and then the next one would be the Disneyland one. So those people, they just reached out on Facebook, and then their
Wow.
Disneyland, their art director is up in Anaheim, so we were able to stay in contact with him, and so we were able to do the Moana show in Hong Kong Disneyland. They have a stage show, and then
Wow.
right before COVID, they had a new parade at Disneyland called Magic Happens, and then they have a Moana float in there, which is so beautiful. With it's the Vaka going, and then they got the waves and all the designs, and then right behind them is a whole cage of our drums, and it's the Kakamora, the little coconut guys, and they're drumming all over our drums. So yeah, it was brought me to tears. Yeah, that's the one, because I'm such a Disney fan. So that was the premiere. That clip you're seeing, that was the very first time it showed. So we got there, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we waited until 2, 3 in the afternoon for that thing to start. And so I'm just there. We're all crying. I'm screaming,
It's
"Those are my
It
drums!
is
I
beautiful.
made those!" And so, yeah, you got two of our bass. I think he's got two or three of our bass drums, and then right on the top, he's got a tuete, a little pate up there that we made. And so, I think they have probably 10 or 15 of our drums that they'll switch off different sizes just for
Wow.
backups. And so, I mean, it's very cool, but it's very humbling to know that we're
Oh my
still the
God.
same person. We've done that out of our home base studio with these two hands right here, you know.
It's so
So
beautiful. It's so
yeah, thank you
beautiful.
so
And the
much.
artwork, of course, I went to go stalk your page and looked at, I love art. And that is so beautiful. I was looking at your urns, by the way. I might have to call you. I'm
Oh,
like, oh,
thank
I
you
was
so
showing my
much.
daughter. I go, oh my God, this is what I want. This is what I want. She's like,
Yeah,
Mom.
Yeah, they were literally shopping before the show came on. There was
yeah.
plenty of look at this one, look at that one. Early in the show, we were
How
talking about
funny.
Naki's daughter celebrated her 21st birthday yesterday, and
Hmm.
they were playing horse in the backyard at
Hmm.
very early in the morning times. And I was joking about the neighbors. They're the only ones that don't win during a game of horse. Being a drum maker, are your neighbors are they fans of the drum making, or do they hear drums playing that they may not be fans?
I knock on wood, we have really great neighbors. We did have one kind of a new neighbor because we've been there for 28 years, you know,
Yeah.
so we're kind of our roots are there. And so we did have one new neighbor kind of come in a couple of years ago, and he uh, decided to take a rub us the wrong way a little bit, where he could have
Yeah.
just asked, just came over and talked to
Yeah.
us, but he
Right.
kind of went over us to speak to, not law enforcement, but officials to see what they could do about our noise. But we don't drum. I don't drum at the house. It's all saws, and so it's
Yeah.
all chainsaws, jigsaws, things like that. But no, knock on wood, we've had really good neighbors. We're always very respectful. I don't work on Sundays. We don't do tools on Sundays. If I am making noise, I'm in the backyard from noon to 2 to 4, things like that. Just
Mhm.
small kind before dinner, and then everything else is just in the garage. We just keep it really quiet. And then we've recently built a big shed back there. So we used to work in the open and all that, but now we have a shed back there. So I'll close up the windows when I start cutting and stuff. So yeah,
Well,
a lot of
28
them.
years. You've earned the
Yeah.
right to run a saw or two at 28 years. Did you get a chance to play the Kong vs Godzilla drum before you sent it off?
Yeah, we did. So we set it up. That was one. Yeah, we set it up in the front of the house in the driveway there, and we did a little. I had my little 16-inch bass drum. And I'm like, okay, let's play this first, and then I just started going on the big one, and we made a little sound video. And then the neighbor next door came over, and he's like, "What the hell is going on out here?" And I said, "Oh, sorry, we were making this drum." He goes, "My whole walls were shaking. You didn't know what was happening." So that was pretty cool. So yeah, we made all these sticks for it, and then we were actually lucky to go. We got invited to go to Fox Studios up in LA where they were going to be recording for it. And so I'm like, oh, this is so cool. So we got to sit in on him, doing the sound takes and all that. And I was told they had 15 $30,000 microphones on the drum
Holy.
in different areas of the drum, all surrounding it. And it was a whole music studio we were in. And so they had the sound producer in the room, and then the main guy, Tom, his name's Tom. He was in the sound stage there with the drum, and he's hitting it with a stick. And then you hear the guy in the radio go, "No, that don't sound good. Okay, hit it over here. No, that don't sound good." And so Tom put the stick down and just used his finger and just tapped it, boom, like that on the skin.
Mm.
And the guy was like, "That's perfect, mark it." So they put a piece of tape right there. And so they were testing all these different tones. Like if I use a drum set stick up on the rim, what will that sound like? And using my finger in the middle, what would that sound like? And it was blowing our minds because here I am going, I didn't know you could do that. I just made the
Right.
drum. So it was very cool to see how they would do that with our work, to have. I mean, I'm a drummer first, and drummer first, and then a woodworker second. I'm trying to switch those, but to have our craft put in the hands of a true musician and to see the versatility of our whole, Pacific drums, it's very
Mm.
cool to see. what they can do with those drums, especially, like the Tavaka drummers and all that. They have a few of our stuff, and to see the music and the tones and the sounds that they create, these beautiful oteas and these tracks that, make it into the Moana movie. It's just a log. It's crazy. It's just a log of wood, and then there you go. They make such beautiful stuff like that.
There's a couple of events that NACI have on our hit list. PBD's been around for 5 or 6 years, but they're the Merry Monarch, Nahoku Hanohano Awards in Hawaii, and PIFA, right in your backyard.
Mm-hmm.
When we make it to PIFA, will we see you there?
Yeah, we're always at PIFA. I haven't had a booth there yet, just because we do a lot of make to order, so I never have any back stock, and I'm always too shy to do booths, and so, but we actually wanted to start doing booths 2020. I had, I think, 10, 15 drums I had ready to go for booths. The weekend we were going to do our first booth was going to be Hey the San Diego. COVID shutdowns began, and so we didn't get a chance to do it. But I'm hoping, and then ever since then, PIFA's been virtual, and so I'm hoping in the future we'll be able to do a booth for PIFA weekend. that's a dream right there, is to have a booth.
Yeah,
at
that would
PIFA.
be awesome.
There's a lot of vendors and people that have booths that I'm kind of like, I mean, I guess the booth's going to do something for you and for the drums and for people to be able to see and touch and do all those things. A booth, I mean, that actually makes sense. There's a lot of booths that I'm just kind of like, you're getting your kind of name and face out there, but to be able to share the experience and feel the sound of the drum and those kind of things, it would be huge.
Yeah. And I mean, I kind of, I really want to do that. I could, here and there, I would bring some sticks, or if somebody had ordered something and they were coming down for PIFA, I would bring it. One time we had a bunch of sticks, and I was people were coming to pick them up, and I told them, I said, hey, make this look like a drug deal, because we're like secretly like doing this transaction, so I'm like, make it look like a drug deal, but I would love to have a booth at PIFA. That's a dream right there.
Yeah, that would be awesome. From beginning to end, to make the sticks, so to make a pair of sticks, how long is the process from when they order it to when they pick it up?
For just sticks, I mean, from the ordering, I usually do sticks about once a week. And so, if you order Monday, I'll have them ready for you by Friday.
Wow.
And then we use a really strong, another wood that we've tested over the years, a South American rosewood that we've tested, buddy. And so we'll go to the stores, pick those up. Those are, I want to say, for 3 8-foot pieces of that wood is about $800. And so, so wood is gold for us, so we section those off, and we'll shape them, we'll sand them, oil them up. I send the picture out, pack them up, and they're out the next day. So, just right about a week. Work time, maybe 2-3 hours, just to get everything cleaned up, sanded nicely. The drums is a different story, though. The drums we have a long process for those. Is
that months or just a guesstimate? I know there's the size and what kind, and
so from start to finish, if I have no other orders, if I'm just working on yours specifically, probably 2 weeks at the most, just with drying times, glossing times, and all that. Like our drum shells, for example, we hand bend them from just just a flat sheet of wood. We have forms that we bend them around. Our shells are 4 to 6 layers thick, each layer, so that that every day is we have to add a different glue on a different layer. After that, we'll cut it to size, put a base coat of paint on there just so the wood grain doesn't show through. We add the fabric that you've chosen, or if you want natural wood grain, we'll leave that. Then we have a glossing schedule that we'll put the shine gloss on there. Once all that's done, we'll get it all sanded, cleaned up, oiled up, and then get the skins attached. So everything, with drying times and all that, is about a week to 2 weeks. And then same with the Toetas. We do a day to shape them, a day to hollow them out, a day to sand them, and about 2 days to carve them, and then probably 3 days to paint them, make sure the gloss cures.
That's amazing, because the art pieces are so beautiful. I'm like, oh my God, it must take months to get this together. That is amazing that you're done from beginning to end, and I mean at max 2 weeks. So that's
Yeah, yeah. But
awesome.
so when the orders kind of stack up, like right now we're at an 8 to 10 week turnaround. So from the time you order to the time your drum is done, it's about 8 to 10 weeks, and that's just so I could kind of work on everybody equally. We
Mhm.
also provide weekly updates. So if you guys order, for example, I'll be messaging you every week saying, hey, your drum is being tuned this week. We're gonna paint your drum. Here's a picture of the design. If you have a carving, here's a SketchUp. Let me know if you approve it, and I'll go ahead and carve it. So every day, every week, we're in contact with our customers, which is something that I like to do. So makes it a
Yeah.
lot more personal.
Right. Right. That's
Makes the
awesome.
experience better for the customer, right? Because then
Yeah,
you're not just waiting a period of time. Hey, you can envision this piece of the process is getting done at this point. Here's what's coming up next.
yeah.
I remember maybe a year ago, and it may be still the same. It's just not. I'm not just not seeing the memes on social media, but the jokes about the cost of wood. Like there was a picture of a guy carrying a bunch of lumber down the road, and they're like, look at him flaunting his privilege. So he thinks he's rich, and did the increase in the cost of the wood affect you as a woodworker?
Yeah, to a degree. I'm lucky that, and I always like to say it too, that the logs we get from a local tree trimmer here. All the
Mhm.
logs, we never cut down trees, so all the logs have been cut down by the city of San Diego. Whenever they need to do that for maintenance or for properties and all that. So I don't go out and saying, hey, I want to make a drum out of that tree. So, just we kind of keep the mana there with the nature. So all the trees have already been cut down. We have a supplier that we go to, that luckily hasn't changed his prices, but our sheets of wood, they went from $10. I think last year they went up to $15 a sheet, and now I just went yesterday to Home Depot, and they were $18 a sheet. And so, but when I'm picking up 20, 30 at a time,
Right.
that
Yeah.
was a $300 bill. Now it's up to $700. So,
Oh wow.
but so yeah. But luckily not too hit as much as a carpenter would, or framers would up, or stuff like that. Yeah.
Well, the cost of your craftsmanship and your expertise doesn't, you know what I mean? Like that's what makes the wood what it is. And
Yeah.
I worked at a lumber mill. I've been around, a lot of people who build things. My father built our entire house when I was a kid. And I've always been amazed of how you can just look at something and see the end product
Mm.
and start cutting and sanding and doing these things. Whereas to me, wood's
Yeah.
just wood. Like I don't have that kind of vision. Did you really take that from your father in the beginning, or have you kind of had that vision and been able to see what things can become from the beginning, or is that something you kind of took from your father?
That I have to give credit to dad. That's dad 100%. And so the stuff, I mean, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the island of Bali, but they're artisans. Their Balinese wood carvers are wood renowned. And so, even like the Tahitian pareos and stuff, they have the same thing in Bali, and all those beautiful hand painted designs. It's just, he's the true essence of a Bali, artisan. And so to see the things he came up with, for example, we had 20-foot palm trees in our front yard that my parents cut them down when I was, little. The wood trimmer, or the tree trimmer, left 8-foot stalks in the front of our house that he told my dad. He goes, I know you're going to do something with them. And now we got two beautiful ancient tikis in the front. And just to see the stuff, the tables he makes out of bamboo, and the light posts out of bamboo and tapa cloth for the light uh, cover and all that. It's just, the stuff is amazing. And so I still struggle with it. Drawing isn't my specialty, so I like to work on my polyflow. If I could draw it, I could carve it, no problem. But it's just, when I'm on a 2D flat drum, or just like the urn, for example, there's just a four-sided box. I could do that, no problem. But to see people carving sculptures and stuff, that's something
Mm.
I'm still trying to get in there. There was a show on Netflix called Carver Kings that used to just me and dad would just watch it over and over, because they would just have a rough log, and then they would just spray paint, just chicken scratch spray paint, and then they would just a cut here, and then a cut there, and then a cut there, and geez, it's a face. I'm like,
Oh,
oh my
wow.
God, like, but me, I have to plane this and I gotta, okay, let me measure that. And I got, I'm very timestamp 4:4. Everything's got to be, quarter inch apart. Everything's, I'm very technical with stuff. And so I kind of have to learn. My dad's always yelling at me. He goes, your stuff is good, but you got to put some art into it. I'm like, damn, man, like, you want to hit me while you're at it? Like, I'm trying to make some good stuff, and then he's like, it looks good, but you got to put some art into your stuff. I'm like, oh my God, okay. So I kind of have to learn to relax a little bit and just kind of go with the flow. So that's what I'm learning, especially with my poly flow, kind of drawing up the designs. We just are changing our signature carving that comes with the drum. So it was very just straight band all the way, but we changed it to add curves in there. We put leaves in there, flowers, the spearhead designs, the mat designs. And so I really wanted 2022 is my year to kind of, okay, let's put some art into our stuff now.
That's awesome.
I think that's those kind of comments and conversations are a thing that's going to come with multi-generational businesses. The elders always going to give their input, and the younger generation is going to listen and learn from it. So earlier on, Naki was showing our producer where to find the urn and those kind of things. How do people find your product if they want to get some of these pieces of art in their homes?
Yeah, absolutely. So our main one would just be our website, which is www.pasifikadrums.com. We have everything sectioned out, so every tab is a different item. The toetes, bass drums, fatetes, Hawaiian pahus, and then underneath that will be like our repair section, and then underneath that is our carvings and all that. So we do have some of Dad's artwork that is readily available. The things like urns and things like that, those are all made to order. And so right on the bottom of our page, there's a contact us section. So you just go on there, you just type in what you want, and then me and you just chat back and forth, and we're able to get the prices for you. We get everything ironed out in an invoice and all that. We have a customer form that you guys fill out, just with your name, all your contact info. And then we start working, and like I said, we start updating you along the way. So our website's our main one. Instagram is Pasifika_drums. And then our Facebook is Pasifika Drums as well. So I run all that stuff. So wherever you message me, it's all going to me. So I handle everything. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Christiaan, for joining us this morning. We're going to give you your Sunday back so you can relax. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We're going to make sure everybody follows you on Instagram, Facebook, and then check out your website. And then you will be seeing my name there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be seeing my name
please.
there.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having us. And it's really, it's nice to network and meet more people, and I'm very honored to be on your show. I really appreciate you having a small kind guy like me on your show.
Hey, we love having you and Corn Dog on.
Yes. Have a good Sunday.
He was playing with his little toy, his little favorite toy is his little corn right here. His little corn.
Cute.
So it's a fun thing to watch him play with that big old corn dog.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Have a good rest of your Sunday.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Goodbye. Thank you.
Well,
that's awesome.
I would imagine that as we redo our media center here in our studio,
we're going to be getting a hold of him.
Some of those drums may be in the background at some point. What amazing and very cool to see that, he's leaning on his father's craftsmanship and his dad saying, be a little less clinical, be a little bit more, you know what I mean? Yeah. But like I said, if you're going to have a multi-generational business, those kind of conversations are going to happen.
Yeah. And you have to go check out all the art, go to their website, follow them on Instagram, and that I'm stalking. Every single picture is so beautiful. The artwork there is amazing. That's why I was like, but 2 weeks, like tops, 2 weeks out. If you go to their website and look at their art, it does look like it's time consuming, but if you got that talent, you're going to whip it out. You know what I mean? So, it would take, of course, me never, because I don't got to art nothing in my bone, but
reinforces the statement that Naki always says from Psalm 1 Solutions, shop Pasifika first. I'm sitting here in my Levasa sweatshirt today, my hoodie. And there's just great Pasifika stuff out there.
Yeah,
just shop it
yes.
first before you go to Nike or Under Armour.
That's right. So shop Pasifika. And please go follow them, Pasifika Drums, on Instagram and Facebook, and check out their work, and get something. Go buy something. Go buy something. They're coming up. They're coming up pretty soon. You can't get a hold of them. It'll be a 3-month wait for you to get your
Right?
stuff.
It'll be back ordered.
It's best to go now. So
Plus, you can say you got in early before that became. I mean, he's actually there. He's in movies.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's making. His passion's carrying him to heights already. So
Right.
get in now. Get those things now.
Get in now before you can't get in. Well, you can get in, but it'll be months before you get their stuff. So yeah, thank you so much to Pasifika Drums for joining us this morning. We appreciate them, especially on a Sunday. We appreciate people who come in on a Sunday. So there you go. I think we're done. We're done. We are here. So before so sorry about Bunny and
Bunny's in, she was supposed to live 6 years. She lived 8+ years.
There you go.
So we got extra time with her.
Mhm.
And in Auntie Nick's house is going to be like, there was a bunny palace. That rabbit had a very good life, and she gave us an extra couple of years. Malia, I love you. I'm sorry your bunny's gone, but is what it is.
Totally back next Sunday at 10 a.m. ish. We had technical difficulties this morning, and I'm coughing up a storm. But we're here every Sunday at 10 a.m. Koviki Talk is every other Monday at 5 p.m. Check us out on the Naopo Facebook page and PBD's Facebook page. Wednesday, you can see us or listen to us, Island City. They are on Dash Radio. Download the Dash Radio app. Search Island City. We're there every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Lots and lots of stuff going on this week. Check out our page for all the updates and more information on Pasifika Drums. Come back to Faika with us.
Love y'all.
Our voice is our liberation.
Our voice is our liberation.
Is our liberation.
Our voice is our liberation.
Our voice is our liberation. Oh, don't take a long time and scared of the murder.
Hello, talofa o lo ingo malik faftai fi maono, lo tama faftai fi maono, lo tina to alima fi maono, sa mani nu o laulii, America Samoa, mutawa Bele family, and sa mai I upolu I le nu o mota, I le a ingo survali. Talofa lava o le fo mai, te whangarenga I le whanmai of Skagit, I Mount Vernon, ni Washington, o te whomai o te specialise I tangata inga I kongo le whanmai. I ke tausia tangata o mai whatu, stroke, whapele, COVID. I o le COVID I sefuluiva o se whamai matautia. I tele o tangata sa vai tono whanmai o mai maula to ola. Le tele ia noa ona o telo tanto mai maula to ola. Ia whamanata to atunu o loo tau wha soa pele le tuipi puia. Ai tau pea ono tato tau sisi I le whainga leo uwhi whafonga o le ono futu mai listangata mai fulunga o lima. Ta ua tele ia vaenga ia puipuia mai ia ai tangata o sotu nuu mai le whamai. O loo vaia pele tele o tangata o I yoti ma sauninga o loo whaia. Ia tata atu pelongo mas whau ia puipuia I tātou I tele o potepatonga whaapene. Ia whamanato te pea ona o le aopongi sana e tātou le lātou sanga i le COVID. Ia o loo ia i le tau sanga fau ia ma isi foi mea o te tupu e mauaile oli ma le fia i tātou tangata. Pe o le tuipui ala o iai. Ia whai ona whewa i tangata i lunga o waalele o toi whitawi a inga sa wala. Ia mere ia moa le fia i tātou tangata. Ia o pulenga whamatai, ia o tau singa o tātou nuu ma tātou ainga e mesere kāresia. O mea ia o ilo aina o taita ia e fo ilo nei o langa i o ngaruenga o whai i nei Amerika. O te mita lava o le Samoa.
E sililo la le lili o le vanu. E sililo pupula lo le fetu o le taiao. E sina o e lo le kiona o e le mana vaola. O nei mea uma e silila valo faola. E sililo la le lili o le vanu. E sililo pupula lo le fetu o le taiao. E sina o e lo le kiona o e le mana vaola. O nei mea uma e silila valo faola. Avea lo to mafio anga o lo anganga. Ia fusia uio a mafana. Fia fai a uma o a fio anga paia.